How about now? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We good? We good? Give me a thumbs up, please. Give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Renegade JT with you. We got a good one today. We hopefully have a good one every day. We give you everything we got. We're fired up. I used to say sports radio's most interactive show. Here, we're the home of the Raider Nation. Clay, we got a little Wi-Fi cutting in and out, but it doesn't matter if anything works today because I'm about to go off. And that's why I want you to listen, and hopefully you're watching like Cisco and Big D and Fabian and a lot of other friends who I know personally. You can catch us live on YouTube on the stream, or you can catch us live on X, on Twitter. And we're excited to be here every day. And I got a lot to say here. So Jason Horowitz at the top of next hour, Vinny Bonsignore, and my buddy Leonard, a new podcaster that I met the other night. My wife and I met when we were out, and we had a good time. And we met a guy who has Raider content, and I said, I'll put you on the show. Let me put you on the show. My friend is going to join us, Leonard, a little bit later on, and we'll see what he has to say about the Raiders. Because that's all I want to do every day is hear what you think about sports. Sometimes we get pulled into this hole of we have to talk Raiders. No, we don't. I'm a sports talk host. I can talk about whatever I want. I can do 2 hours on the Dodgers having this payroll that is ridiculous. And the only reason they're winning, seriously, the only reason they're winning is they have such an enormous payroll that they were able to buy Snell and Yamamoto on top of all the guys they had. Mookie Betts, you might have heard of Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Glasnow, all the guys they got. The reason they were able to go extra, double, triple Christmas shopping is their insanity of a payroll. But you can't tell Dodger fans that, Clay. If you do, they get all angry, man. They walk up to you. What you saying, man? You're ripping on the Dodgers? No, I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. I'm a Yankee fan. I know the Yankees spent money, but the Yankees never had money like the Dodgers. George Steinbrenner was a businessman. He wasn't a conglomerate. He built the Yankees and put all of his money into the team. Then he got a great television contract. Then he sold advertising. Then he increased the season ticket prices and put together deals. And then you know what Steinbrenner did? He took that money and still put it back to the team. The Dodgers, owned by the Guggenheim Group, they have paintings that are worth $500 million in storage. They can get whoever they want, and they're doing it. And you don't think that has something to do with them winning? Are you nuts? You don't think the Dodgers winning? They have a $420 million payroll. The Brewers have $125. The Dodgers have their 7 and 8 hitter who are almost all-stars and would be in the middle of the lineup for the Brewers. You don't think money matters? Money matters everything. So I could do 2 hours on the Dodgers, but I choose to do Raiders in this time slot because my advertisers, my bosses, everybody I work for, and we're heavy Raider. Last night I did a 3-hour show. I didn't mention the Raiders once, not one time. Okay, so here we're going to talk Raiders today. And as I see, and I get a chance to work with Lincoln Kennedy, who's a legend, and Eric Allen, who's a legend. They're football players. We had Shane Leckler at the Torch, Tim Brown at the Torch. They're football players. You know what they don't do? They don't whine. They don't whine. They try to find solutions to what's going to fix the team. They don't whine and say their team sucks, and then they go on X and say they should fire everybody. They try to come to a conclusion on how the team's going to get better. And that's what we're doing today. We're trying to figure out what the Raiders can do to fix everything on the football field. We know what they've done to fix the organization. Mark Davis brought in Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the greatest and most accomplished player ever. With all due respects to my friend Jim Brown, who passed away, it's Tom Brady. Tom Brady is really sharp, but Tom's got a lot of other things going on. He's a dad. He's got multiple businesses. He's a broadcaster, and he's not going to come down and play quarterback. So John Spytek, who played with Brady at Michigan, is the GM. He brought in a new group of football people to kind of change their football operations. Remember we had Dave Ziegler, right? Remember we had Tom Telesco? Remember we had Reggie McKenzie, all these guys. Now it's Spytek's turn to go get these guys. And he's trying to build the team. Then they have to figure out the budget. How much money should they spend? Up to the cap. Do they want to spend it this year, or is next year where they're really going to fire away with the draft and all that? That's up for them. I have no insight on that for you. None. And then it comes to Pete Carroll, who is a legend, a gentleman. I put up my interview with Pete Carroll on my own Facebook page, and people are yelling at Pete Carroll. Can you imagine that? Yelling at Pete Carroll because he sits down with me and he tries to tell you how he's going to make the team better. And he talked about the Aces. I had someone on my Facebook page say, we didn't tune in to hear about the Aces. These are some of the horrid people I'm dealing with who can't even give Pete Carroll the respect of being Pete Carroll. Right? How about just looking at Pete Carroll saying, wow, what an accomplished human being. What an unbelievable human being. What a great guy. And he's coaching our team, and he's only coached so far 6 games. Man, we're fortunate to have Pete Carroll. No, everybody's throwing darts and slinging arrows here. So what we're going to do today and tomorrow is we're going to try to find a way for the Raiders to win against Kansas City. We all good with that, right? We're not a bunch of gossip girls, right? We're not sitting around here talking about people's jobs and firing them in week 6, going into week 7. We're trying to win a game. And let's talk about how to win the game. I give you my opinions all the time. All the time. Okay? All the time I give you my opinions. And I think this team this year is playing overall poorly. I've said that they're playing poor football. They're not playing really good football. The offensive line is a problem. The young cornerbacks are kind of a problem. They're good players, but they're not at the level of the NFL standard to be great. That's kind of a problem. The quarterback is playing so bad as of now. He's playing a little bit better complementary football, but he's not playing anywhere near his ability, which is a problem. And I think he's a good player. I've documented everything about Geno. I think he's pretty good. We got our best player on the entire team, Max Crosby. He's playing well. He's getting some help on the interior defensive line. Where's Malcolm Kuntz? Anybody? Where's Tyree Wilson, who's playing better? What are we going to do? Throw a kid's party, a birthday party, because Tyree Wilson gets a sack or falls on a fumble? He was taken 7th overall. We want him to be great. We got a running back. This kid's amazing. I mean, oh, my God. Everybody this year, no matter what happens to the Raiders this year, how fortunate are we to have the leadership and the quality human being of Ashton Jeanty, right? Everybody go to the Raider Image and buy his jersey. Great kid. Playing his ass off. Playing his ass off for you, the fans, from the 400 section down to the Winfield Club. Everything you could ask for him, he's doing. And we're going to figure out how the scheme works, right? The scheme seems to be a problem because I think these high-end coaches who are so established and so good, that would be Patrick Graham, Chip Kelly, and Pete Carroll. You can't debate me on this topic. You can say they're having a bad season. Fair. You can't debate what they've done in their careers. They've done so many great things in their careers. They're multimillionaires. They're established coaches, respected everywhere. But you might not like them because it's week 6. So they have to figure out the best scheme for Kansas City. I am an expert on the Kansas City Chiefs. I have a PhD on the Kansas City Chiefs. 28 seasons covering this team, covering Kansas City when we used to dominate them, beat them most of the time, and then it all changed because of Mahomes and Andy Reid. I've been there for all of it. And I don't go back to Bobby Bell, but I know the history of Fred Biletnikoff and Bobby Bell because I met Bobby Bell through Fred Biletnikoff and the great late Derek Thomas and Steve Wisniewski and Howie Long going up against the legendary Chiefs from back in the day. Joe Montana played for the Chiefs. So I know the history pretty well. It's gotten away from us. Kansas City has had better coaching until now. I don't think Andy Reid's much better than Pete Carroll. He's got more pelts on the wall, but Pete's in that realm, as you know. And they have better players. They've drafted better, and they've retained their players. You see, one of the things that we all thought would happen to Kansas City is that Kansas City would lose players because they'd get greedy. And they'd want to leave Kansas City to go play for other teams like Carolina, Jacksonville, Detroit back in the day because they just won and they get more money playing for lesser teams. No, they don't. The Hunt family treats their players well. They get the market value or above market, and they play in a winning culture on a winning team, and they don't want to leave. That's what the Raiders want to accomplish here. Matter of fact, I think we have a better advantage. We have a better place to live in Southern Nevada than Kansas City. We have no state taxes here. We have better entertainment. We have more fun. We have better weather. It shouldn't be harder to get people to come here. The Raiders' history, proud history, is right there with the Chiefs. It used to be much better, but Kansas City caught up, and you can say if they went ahead or not. That's your choice. And now what we have to do is we have to get rid of the whining and the crying and the sniveling. And we got to find a way in the next 3 days how to put a game plan together to win this game. So I'll go first. And if you follow me on X, I put this out there. I'm a guy that likes to attack. Al Davis taught me that. I like to attack. Throw it over the wall. Throw the deep ball. Take what you want. Take what you want and let them adjust. We are nowhere near that today. We are check down Charlie. We are check down, and you know I despise the check down. Unless you check down Ashton Jeanty or Brock Bowers, those are pretty good guys to check down to. It's kind of like checking down to Todd Christensen and Marcus Allen. You know, but at least those Raider teams of the 80s, when they checked down to Marcus and Todd Christensen, they were throwing the bomb 4 times a half. We're not doing that here because we're not taking what we want. What we're doing is we're trying to manage a team that's not playing well and manage them out of this cycle that we're in. So why do you think Pete Carroll has been so excited to tell us all? He told me about, hey, man, we won the game. We did some good things. The program needs more of that. He's just giving you a clue into the fact that in order to win, these steps have to happen. None of us want to take baby steps, right? We want to run. But in order to do what we want to do around here, we got to start with something, which is not turning the ball over and establishing the run. Say that with me again. Not turning the ball over and establishing the run. We did that in the last game. We didn't establish the run at world record pace, but God, they established the run on the first drive of each half with Ashton Jeanty. Geno had 1 interception. It was really bad. Geno said he needed to jump in the ocean or in a lake because of the luck that he's having now. He gave you a little window of what he's going through mentally. What he's going through mentally, he basically said, I won't put words in his mouth. Man, the 1 interception I threw it right to the other team. I wanted to throw it into the ground, but I'm having such a bad streak here. Everything I do is going wrong. Yeah, we get it, Geno. We don't think you're that guy. You're just going through a really bad streak. Anybody who lives in Vegas knows the greatest sports gamblers go to the blackjack table. They get a bad shoot of cards, and they can't win. They're getting dealt 3s and 4s and 5s, and the dealers are getting aces and kings. That's what we've been going through around here. We need a little mojo change, and the way to get it is in Kansas City. So what do we do for the game plan in this game? That's the focus of your phone calls this hour at 702-365-9200. So I told you that I like to attack, but they haven't given me any evidence that they can attack. They've given me, the radio host, no evidence at all that they can attack since week 1 in New England when they were able to find Trey Tucker. And Trey Tucker had a pretty good game, caught a bomb for a touchdown. And ever since then, it seems like they're taking Geno and they're kind of taking a lot away from him because Geno deserves to have stuff taken away from him because Geno can't have good things right now. He's just not playing well. But he did win the last game. And he did make good, accurate check down throws. And he followed the game plan of Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly, which is a running game plan. And he managed the game well. Not everything Geno does, he's doing poorly. He's leading tremendously. He's accountable. He's a great captain and team leader. He's doing a lot of good things well. It's just not really showing up on the field. So with all this being said, as I talk to Lincoln and Eric Allen, and we have all our guests on today, Vinny and Jason Horowitz, I'm trying to figure out how you go and win this game. And here's what I think needs to be done. Number 1, today's practice in Henderson. I normally say run the plays that work in Henderson, but none of the plays have been working in Henderson. None of them that I can recall. Can you recall any? We don't have any plays that work. We threw the ball to a backup guard at the goal line because we don't have that famous Dave Casper play that leaks off Dave Casper into the corner of the end zone and he wins Super Bowls with it. I don't know why we don't put that on film and bring everyone into the team meeting and say, watch this Dave Casper play, Michael Mayer. We're going to run it to you at the goal line, and we're going to run it back to back if they knock it down the first time. This is our play. We don't have any plays. We don't run crossing slants at the 5-yard line. We don't sprint the quarterback outright. We don't make the quarterback run an RPO and dive over the end zone. Are we afraid we're going to break him? Are we afraid he's made of glass? Geno's a big dude, man. He's strong. And last I looked, he's pretty healthy. Okay, so we don't have any plays that work at the level that they work in games. They might work in Henderson. So that led me to believe, talking to my son, and what does he know? He's just a sharp kid, is that we got to go heavy Ashton Jeanty in this game. We got to hope that the blocking schemes that they're running today in Henderson, whatever side they're running them to, because please don't run up the middle against Chris Jones. Please. Right behind putting the hands on Kelce. The second thing is do not run the ball up the middle against Chris Jones. Please. Please don't. But I think you can run it to the right side of Jackson Powers-Johnson, DJ Glaze, and get this, Michael Mayer. I would turn Michael Mayer into the 6th offensive lineman in this game and tell Big Mike, hey, Mike, we got to go run behind you. You're really athletic. You're a super athlete. You can gain leverage on a defensive end or a linebacker. We're going to kind of follow you with Ashton Jeanty along with DJ Glaze and then JPJ. We're going to pull JPJ, and he's going to knock out some guy and put him on his ass. And we're going to bust you open for 13 yards on the right side. That's number one I have. Number two, if that works, then Geno can go play action. Geno can go play action, fake handoff, pull it out of Ashton's belly, and then take some shots in the vertical game. Does that make sense? I think it does. Thirdly, here's a big one for me. Geno hasn't had time to throw, but I think in this game he can. I don't think Denver's defensive line has been really good, really good. Kansas City's is good. They're always in the Super Bowl. They're good, but they're not like super elite. What I would do is I'd run Dante Thornton and Trey Tucker far wide on each side, and I'd run go routes to them both. I know the safety personally for the Kansas City Chiefs. He grew up in my backyard. He slept over my house probably 50 times. What I would do is I would probably just run the 4-3 guys, run them deep to try to open up the middle of the field, depending on Brock playing or not, and Mayer and whoever we're going to run, Jakobi Meyers on crossing routes over the middle of the field with Trey Tucker. I would definitely have a safety and a corner running with the deep ball, even if we're not going to throw them there. So that's my plan on offense. My plan on defense is, oh boy, I'm really worried because we have Caillou, Blue Kelly, and Eric Stokes. They're attacking Caillou every chance they can. He's the number one targeted corner. There's some radical stat on they're going at Caillou more than anybody. And if you put Caillou in zone and you're asking Caillou to figure out how to let this guy go and try to go into this space, I think that's really complicated for Caillou, who's a young and experienced player. But if you play Caillou man and Hollywood Brown's going up against him or Juju Smith-Schuster, and they do the stop and go, it could be over. So I believe the zone has to work in this game. So the zone coverage, we have no choice. We got to run the zone. It's the smart thing to do. Because Jeremy Chin is a really good player, and he's ferocious. And Isaiah Palomal flashes, and I think he's a good player, worthy of starting. That leads me to the linebackers. We got rid of a knucklehead linebacker because he wasn't a great teammate. We got rid of him, and I think he had 12 tackles in his last game. I never said he was a bad player, but if he's not in the program, you got to move people on. Okay? Definitely. You got to do that. With the linebackers that we have left, what I think we need to do is Jamal Adams in this game has got to play at the line of scrimmage on Kelce. They have 11 players. We have 11. We have got to put Jamal Adams somewhere near Kelce. He's a lunatic. He's a trash talker. He's angry, and he wants to be famous. I can tell you one thing about Jamal Adams. He likes the camera. I did the play-by-play in the preseason on radio, and he was chirping at Seattle like it was the NFC Championship game back in the day. I'm like, what's he doing, man? It's a preseason game, and he's yelling at the sideline in Seattle. Well, he plays with emotion. We need more guys with emotion on Kelce. So we got to put our hands on Kelce. Over-under on me saying that this week was 1,316. I just broke 1,000. Put your hands on Kelce. Try to slow him down. And then finally, I need a new defensive end opposite Max. I said that. I need someone to come off the other end. Malcolm Koonce had a great game in Kansas City 2 years ago. Do you remember that game? A lot of people realized and thought that Malcolm Koonce would be a centerpiece to this organization for a game that he played in Kansas City, where he was dominant in that game, and everyone was like, wow, what has he done since? Well, he missed a year being injured, and he's coming off an injury, and he hasn't popped just yet. So with everything that I'm talking about here, I'm saying that everybody needs to play a great game. If they don't, you're going to call them out. That doesn't mean you're not going to get beat for a touchdown. Someone's going to get beat for a touchdown. It always happens. Don't jump off sides. Snap the ball correctly. Going back to last year, we could have won the game. Bad snap. Aiden O'Connell lost the game. Do your job and play a really competitive game. And I just gave you a whole bunch of reasons why I believe that the Raiders can go out there and make the game competitive and win the game. Yeah, they can win the game. I think they're a 12-point underdog. If someone wants to put that in the chat on YouTube, is it 11.5, 12? I don't know exactly what it is, depending on where you're shopping in Vegas. But I just gave you what I did. That you got to have Ashton have a big game. If they stop Ashton early in this game and make Geno pass predictable, the old Geno would figure it out. The old Geno, if you took his running game away from Geno in Seattle, Geno would go to DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett, and he'd maybe win the game. But Geno's not doing this in Las Vegas yet, and we're hoping that he does. That's the monologue, brought to you by PTs. They fuel the monologue. They get us going here every day with the best happy hour in town, 5 to 7, midnight to 2. Head on out to PTs. What a great game last night for the Vegas Golden Knights. 3 in the third. A lot of hockey fans go to PTs and all the taverns to go watch the games there. PTs, proud partner of the show. So that's what I think we got. We got Vinny Bonsignore. We got Jason Horowitz. I opened up the hour for phone calls. It's Kansas City week. I have nothing ready. So you're not ready. I am ready. Thank God I'm ready every day. Thank bleeping God I'm ready every day to do my job. I don't need a plaque. I don't need anything. I don't need a billboard at Allegiant Stadium. Just know when it's Kansas City, I'm ready to go. Just make sure that I'm sick and tired of this team beating our ass. They need to go down. They need to go down. I don't know if it'll be this game. Most people think no. But there's hope that this team can get it done because Pete Carroll's coaching this team, and Pete Carroll's a great coach. He's not defined by 6 games in Vegas. He's an elite, great coach. We're lucky to have him. And I think people need to show him more respect because he respects the hell out of you, the Raider Nation. He tells me that before the cameras go on. What are we talking about, JT, with the fans? I got you, coach. We got to get this thing moving. This would be a good time to do it. And if they do, the Raiders are right in the middle of everything. I mean, in the middle of everything if they win this game. If they don't win this game, rest of the season is chasing to get back to maybe 500. Win this game, you beat Kansas City in Kansas City, I guarantee you're on a roll after that. No one will be able to debate. The Raiders beat Kansas City and the Patriots in week 1. That's a pretty good football team that's coming together. And if they put up a great fight and they come up short, hey, man, we're going to stick with our team. We're going to stay with our team, and we're not going to be a cancer within our fan base and say everybody sucks. These are good guys who are trying to win games, really good guys trying to win, and they need to hear from you at 702-365-9200. We're not a podcast today. We're a live show. It's Wednesday, right? Let's go. What's it going to take? We're brought to you by the DeCastaverde Law Group. Alex and Orlando DeCastaverde, friends and proud partners. If you get into an accident, I hope you do, and you're injured, the brothers win. Brotherswin.com. All right.
Tailgate.
JT Rizzo. Current car, stay right there. Hold on one second.
Morning tailgate. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on Raider Nation Radio 920 AM.
Gaming is the official and exclusive.
All right, that was pretty good. I think some wise ass was telling me I can't mention the Dodgers because I'm a Yankee fan. Screw you. Screw you. I can mention anything I want on the Yankees and the Dodgers. Don't tell me I can't mention the Dodgers because I'm a Yankee fan. Everything I say, I back it up. I back it up. If the Yankees are overpaying on their team, fair. That doesn't mean the Dodgers are not. Thank you for the passion.
Where they live, they seem like it doesn't matter. It matters.
That one got the heart rate up. I got an alert. That one got the heart rate up. My Apple Watch said, "Hey, are you all right, bro? Bro, what's going on?"
We know
Cool,
how
man. Stay right there.
Harris love. Great for. Get ready to raid the pubs. This football.
All right, we got that's a good monologue, man.
American Pub and Sierra. Game days to catch the game. Enjoy ice cold $3 Blue Moon Lights and Coors Light Pints, $20 Topo Chico buckets, plus game day food favorites. With free tickets to catch Vegas and Allegiant Stadium, along with a $100 Allegiant Bar credit, $100 Uber card, and team gear to wear throughout the game. Your home for football and fun is at PT's Gold, PT's Place, Great American Pub, and Sierra Gold. There's a new way to get to the game. M-Ride. M-Ride is the luxury concierge shuttle service. It's the same bus the players use, so you can ride like a pro. M-Ride will take you round trip from Circa, the Palms, and now the Link to Allegiant Stadium. No more hassle parking, sitting in traffic, or waiting in long taxi or rideshare lines. Ride like a pro. M-Ride it, and you'll get in and out quickly. Reserve your ride at mride.com. Use promo code BRICK. That's mride.com, promo code BRICK. This is JT for the local 872, proud partners of Raider Nation.
Carol's presser is
Tommy White.
Okay,
7:30.
okay, let's have that ready to go. I'd like to hear that. I wasn't aware of that.
Apprenticeships, career paths, all the public work zones, and the schedules that are happening here in our valley.
I don't think if Jacoby Myers gets traded, I mean, if they feel like moving Jacoby Myers is beneficial, I don't know if they do or not. I would hope Jacoby would be here.
And the friendship. Or choose chill, because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Big news, Las Vegas. Les Olson IT has moved to a bigger, better facility to serve you like never before. Our new space means more technology, more service, and more solutions, all designed with you in mind. Plus, we're hiring. If you're ready to grow with a company that values innovation and community, join our team today. Proudly serving Las Vegas for 23 years and counting. Les Olson IT.
That's slow, Zach.
Okay, sounds good.
No play makes for one boring ass week. Feet boarded in the curb. It's cold here. Cocktails, the best tavern food in town.
All right, it's cold and flu season, Clay. We got to make sure it took some extra vitamins today. Get the throat going.
You know, I'll take my vitamins too. I have them in my
Look at you.
drinks around. I get that. Sure.
Locations, there is always a PT's Tavern near you.
Visit ptstaverns.com to find your neighborhood tavern today. Welcome back.
Start with Ben. Let's do Ben.
Okay.
And we're gonna jump into Thor.
Okay.
Tequila, the official tequila of the JT the Brick Show.
Pollard in the backfield with Cam Ward. Raiders showing blitz again. Heavy pressure. They back out. They bring just 4. Ward. Pressure up the middle. It's Milo. Drops him at the 34. Pressure through the middle. And the Las Vegas native with a dance on a 9-yard sack.
That's a good player there. Jonah Laulu is playing well this year. Really well. We'll get into that a little bit later on with Jason Horowitz, voice of the Raiders. He'll join us at the top of the hour. So with Jonah playing this well and Max playing this well, Adam Butler's a good player. We got to get something out of Malcolm Kuntz. So before you say, well, what do you mean? He had a 0. Malcolm Kuntz had a 0 in the last game. I looked at the stats. He didn't show up on the stat sheet. No, he's got to be great in Kansas City. And I hope he can. I think this is an important game for the future of Malcolm Kuntz in Kansas City. I mean, this is our biggest game of the year. The biggest game of the year every year is not the home game against Kansas City. It's the road game because it's the ultimate test. Eventually, we should be able to beat them at home. It's our home field. It's important for our fans. Our biggest test is at Kansas City. Period. Nothing's close. You could say this year at Philly because Philly are the world champs. They're the Super Bowl champs. But our biggest game every year, when the schedule comes out, I go, where's the Kansas City game at Arrowhead? That's the game which tells you where the Raiders are at. So, yeah, they should play with pressure on them that this is a big game. Every player should understand the pressure of playing against Kansas City. It's a very important game. A very important game, and they got to play well. Ben from Denver, thanks for listening on the mobile app. What's happening, Ben?
Hey, what's up, JT? I love the show.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm out here in Denver, and, all I hear, I just can't stand it out here, man. It's Bronco fans all the time. But anyway, I'll be honest, I'm one of those guys that said, we went through that 4-game losing streak, and I was one of those guys that said, we got to bench Geno. We got to maybe at least give Kenny a try in that one game where we were getting blown out. But I have confidence in Pete. I believe, and I have confidence in Geno. I think the last game was, hey, play short, just get this win, feel good about yourself, and then go on to the next game. But I firmly believe, I told my son, we beat the Kansas City Chiefs and we make the playoffs. We beat the Chiefs. And we'll make a wild card somehow. But we got to get this game. If we get this game at 3-4, I'm going to have the happiest 2 weeks. I'm going to go into the bye like, let's go, baby. So, that's all I got, JT. We got to win this game. We win it. We make the playoff. If we don't, like you said, we got to keep chasing. But this is it. Let's go.
Yeah, it's tough to look at the full season at 2-5 and start talking playoffs. I won't be doing that on the show. I'll be talking about competition. We'll be talking about competition and how to compete and win games. There's no tanking on this show. Plenty of podcasts. They should just call the podcast the Tanking Raider Podcast. We don't do any of that. We want to win every game. We want to win every game, and this would be a big step. But there's a reason why they're a double-digit underdog. I mean, Clay, if they were a 4-point underdog or 6, then you sit around and go, okay. Well, when you're double digits, it's hard to find a way. The Vegas bet noses don't think the Raiders have a chance, only to lose and cover the spread.
And at the same time, we've seen double-digit dogs as Raiders go into Arrowhead before and somehow keep this game close and possibly win. Hell, even AP could have done it twice. And each time, defensive pressure and running the ball to control the clock.
Great point. Running the ball and defensive pressure. We got the guys on the defensive line who could get the defensive pressure going. What worries me about this game is when the pocket breaks down, Mahomes is the all-time best, better than Brady when the pocket breaks down. And these receivers are so fast, if they keep running, they'll run past some of our guys. So that's why if the pocket breaks down, someone's got to get Mahomes quick. Because if the play keeps going, he'll find someone deep. Thor, out in beautiful Summerlin today. Hello, Thor.
Hello?
Yeah, Thor, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, JT? Keep having weird phone issues. Sorry about that.
Anyway, let's go get this win. Raider Nation, get fired up. I don't care if we're a 12.5 or 15.5 or a 4.5 point underdog. Regardless what it is, we got to find a way to win. I really believe that their defensive line doesn't get that much pressure. Our offensive line has been playing better. You know, right now, like, we got you a good win last week. Right now, you have to elevate your game to the best possible. And I think throwing the ball early off of play action will set up the run late when we have the lead to be able to keep the lead. The defensive front four has to get pressure because we know Mahomes will kill us if they're blitzing and he gets away. So the front four has to get pressure weak. They have to find a way. Max, we know you're going to give everything, but we need Malcolm Kuntz. We need Butler. We need everyone has to give a little bit, everything, a little bit more than everything. And let's shock the world, JT. I'm fired up to shock the world this week. Let's go, baby.
It would be great to shock the world, man. I would agree with you 100%. It would be great to shock the world. If you're on hold, stay there. Pete Carroll just spoke to the media at the Intermountain Health Performance Center. Let's hear what the coach had to say. Okay, we'll get that up here momentarily.
You got to have really all completely balanced approach, or you're just going to win sometimes and not other times. So that's what we're shooting for.
Jonah Lalu, guy that has been here, for a couple of years. Those of us who have been here have seen him grow by kind of leaps and bounds, and there's big jumps, and then there's bigger jumps. What have you seen from him so far?
Yeah, I may have said earlier on that when we first came here and looking through the film and trying to pick out guys, and see stuff, I thought he looked like he really showed traits that could. Why isn't he a starter? And so we've just treated him like that the whole time that we've talked to him and coached him and set our expectations for him, and he's totally living up to it. He's playing great football. It's not just size, weight, speed thing. It's his heart, the intensity that he plays with, the technique. You saw, great pass rushes over the last couple of weeks where he's winning one-on-ones, and he's doing a tremendous job. The plays we liked the most were the perimeter tackles that he made, out on the edge, just showing great effort, really complete effort. So I'm really fired up for him. He's kind of come out of nowhere, and a local kid and all that kind of stuff. It's a great story, but he's doing it by hard work. Robbie's doing a great job with him, and just can't wait to see what happens next.
With Devin White, what have you seen out of him that's kind of been resurgent with this season, what he did in this past game?
Well, most of us remember him being a great player, and so when John brought it up, hey, we got a chance to get Devin. What do you think? And he had been kind of knocked around. Didn't have much film to show. In the last couple of years, and really, I thought lost his connection a little bit with the game, and so he has. We've been engaged with him for some time now. We've watched him grow. We've watched him, embrace the leadership opportunity. He's a heck of a playmaker, and he makes special plays every week. And so all of that just fits together. Plus, he's tough as hell, and he's downhill, and he knocks the crap out of you when he gets a chance. So all of that it's really been a good story. I'm really glad for him. We were hoping that we could, find him and connect him with his past, and it's shown up some, and so he had a great game last week.
Tyree's snap counts have increased the last few games, and he's also shown up in the run game. It looks like, at least to us, him on the field. Solid level of college, but does that get him on the field a little bit more when he shows that he can play the run as well as?
We're planning on him in the middle of the rotations. He's going. Yeah, he's doing well. He's playing really hard. His effort has been consistent, and as he's such a great physical athlete that it shows up. You see the big hits, and you see the overwhelming plays that he can make coming off blocks and things like that. So. I still think his best is ahead of him, and we're really excited that he's contributing in such a big way.
Pete, I know earlier in the year you talked about managing Ashton's carries a little bit as a rookie early on, but coming off a career high in carries against the Titans, do you feel he's better equipped for that now moving forward and heavier?
I don't think there's any doubt. Yeah, he is, and we have to make sure we don't overdo it too early. But yeah, he's physical. He's tough. He's resilient. He delivers the punishment, and he also, he can take it well too. He's handled himself really well. It's a long haul. And we have to make sure that we're managing him right. But I think that being kind of normal for him is what we should expect. With around 20 carries a game, somewhere in there is what we would hope.
What did you see from Caillou Blue Kelly, who had struggled a couple games, but looked like he really bounced back last week?
He had a terrific game last week. He did, and that's, if they go after you, they're going to get you. And once in a while, and he's been had a couple times, but all plays that he couldn't, he would have played a little bit differently if he had another chance at him. Give him more chances. I think he's going to continue to grow. The thing that Caillou brings is his physicality. His tackling is really outstanding. His play on the perimeter and his containment, other things than what you normally look for in a corner. Like he's just a press guy or he's a cover guy. He's a more complete football player than that, and it shows. And it showed last week. And I thought Pat did a really nice job of game planning and making sure that he was in great positions, and he answered the call really well.
Focus on Patrick Mahomes and the offense, but they've always done a good job defensively as well. What is it that their staff does?
Well, Spags is a tremendous coordinator. He's been around. He's seen it all. He's done it all. He's game planned against the very best for years and years, and they played winning championship football for years. So they make great decisions. They make great adjustments. Their game plans are difficult. They utilize their personnel really well, and he's got a feel for when to be aggressive and when not to. So he's got all of the elements of a great coordinator.
Back into that, obviously, you just went up against a really good tackle last week with Jeffrey Simmons, but you have another one, Chris Jones. Just now having to go up against, back-to-back weeks with, these dominant tackles. How do you prepare your offensive line for that?
Hopefully, really well. It's kind of one after another. Simmons last week was really difficult. And we had a lot of things we tried to handle. Sometimes we could get him, and other times he'd get us. It's kind of the same, And with Jones, he's a really effective football player, and he can dominate the line of scrimmage. And we just got to see if we can minimize his impact with all of the things that we do to accomplish that.
All right, that's a portion of Pete Carroll's press conference. Offensive line's got to be good. He likes the way Caillou Kelly bounced back. He had more of a complete football game, which is good. Going into Kansas City, I think they're going to pick on him and test him. And he's got to have a good week of practice, and Pete's building confidence. One of the things Pete Carroll does when he gets in front of a microphone is he builds confidence for his players. He's got their back, no matter who his players are. He doesn't have the Legion of Boom. He doesn't have Cam Chancellor, Richard Sherman yet, so he's going to get behind his guys, very loyal to his players. Stevie G in Oakland. What's going on, Stevie? What's happening?
Hey, JT, how you doing, man? Hey, this is good. Good week. This is a good week coming up. We're challenged, right? We've got Kansas City. We're going to their house, and we need to put it to them. We need to run that ball. I hope we do a lot more under center, just because I just think it gives us more flexibility, more options. But I'm looking for the offensive line to improve what they've been doing. Obviously, Ashton Jeanty just continue to do what he's doing, and I hope. Gino, just feels more comfortable with himself. And even what I just saw the other guy, Mahomes, do. All their struggles, what has he been doing? He's been running that ball. He's taking those 3-5. And honestly, that's a la Gannon. Gannon, when it looked like we were in trouble, would run for 5 yards. So instead of 2nd and 10, it might have been 2nd and now it makes it a makeable, possession. We're staying on schedule. So hopefully Gino continues to grow within the offense and basically make sure that he keeps us on schedule with that in terms of what we're doing. And then defensively, I like obviously what we did last week. I want the pressure to continue. That defensive line, obviously, we just saw again, what Crosby will do, what Mad Max will do when he's unleashed. And hopefully he'll again be unleashed, and he knows because he's going against his boy Mo.
Correct.
So he'll be up there, up for the competition and for the challenge. Looking forward to it. Thanks again, JT. You guys take care. Go Raiders.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that's a good call. That's a lot of things that have to happen here. Gino gaining confidence, Max having a big game, Max really showing up and having a defensive player of the year type game. Saw that Myles Garrett was getting heat by his broadcasters in Cleveland. The guys on the radio who do what I do, they're going all after Myles Garrett. They don't care about his stats. They're not winning in Cleveland. They don't care about Myles Garrett anymore, his stats. He's a great player. You got to win. We care about Max's stats, but Max cares more about winning. Got to get Max some wins here, man. Mike in Philly, listening on the mobile app. Hello, Mike.
JT, what's up? It's Blind Mike. How you doing,
Hey,
man?
Blind Mike, good to hear from you. Go ahead
What's
now.
up, man? This is great. Shout out to the Handoff. Shout out to Looney and JT podcast. I love you, man.
Thank you. Same.
You know, and guess what? Shout out to you know what? Congratulations on your big blue. You know, you guys wrecked my birds the other night. You know what I mean? On a personal note, and you guys wrecked me, man.
I'm not you guys. I'm not with the Giants anymore, Blind Mike. I've been with the Raiders for a quarter century. Appreciate it.
But no, I want to talk about this. Okay, now you guys got to get right when it comes to defensive pressure, man. Because watch the Eagles film when it comes to the Chiefs. Nick Fangio came right at Mahomes. Like we were just like, you know what? Let's go at him. Because there was no, I mean, until they woke up in the fourth quarter with Pachenko and stuff. Look out, be careful with that. But send the when it comes to relieving interceptions, the best way you can do it when it comes to Geno, because Geno's great. He's a great quarterback. Throw it short, throw them little half, hitch routes. Like the Roger Craig to Ashton Genty, throw them little half pack, to relieve the interceptions. So they don't make them feel more comfortable. That's how you beat Kansas City, and make sure send that pressure at Mahomes, because you saw what happened in our Super Bowl, man. We beat the face like a cheesesteak.
You did. I got to run, Mike. Appreciate the call. You're right. When the Raiders have had success against Mahomes, it's been with pressure. It's great when you have only 4 guys bringing the pressure, because if you bring other extra blitzers, he could pick you apart. So if your 4 can get home, or one of out of the 4 can get home, that could be big. Adam Schefter, Jeremy Fowler, talking about a potential trade. They just put this out there a little while ago. Schefter didn't expand on Myers' trade status. Jeremy Fowler, quote, teams I've spoken to believe the Raiders are open to trading wide receiver Jakobi Myers, but are not actively trying to move him. Well, that's really the biggest nothing I've ever heard. Well, of course the Raiders would be interested in trading him if there was something that made sense to the Raiders, and the Raiders aren't actively trying to move him. Anything for a click, man. Anything for a click. Yeah, the Raiders are willing. Put this out. The Raiders, JT the Brick's willing to report, the Raiders are willing to trade Max Crosby for 5 first-round picks. Just 5. You can get 5 for Max? I'll drive Max to the airport if you can get 5. Unbelievable what people will put up for clicks. Okay, we got a big show. Continue. Jason Horowitz will join us. Brought to you by the M Resort Spa and Casino. Anything for clicks. Anything for clicks.
How is that any different than what Jakobi Myers' agent wanted you're going to season?
Yeah, right.
Well, thanks for the update, guys.
Yeah.
Coach Flynn said he was happy about the win, with everyone acknowledging there's plenty of work left to be done.
Tucker's outperformed Jakobi. Jacoby's got to get going here.
Tucker growing.
Epic Raider got me this shirt, man. Raider Nation. Epic Raider. Thank you.
Also knows how to do that. How about a library? How games are played, how to make bets, and hot picks of the day.
Trade Jakobi for a star quarterback? Yeah, who's that star quarterback going to be?
Vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right, and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
Yeah, my voice is wow. Not good today. Yeah.
You're in that danger zone. Right?
I'm in that danger zone right now. Yeah.
Well, I'm recording Geno Smith right now.
Okay. We're going to hear from Geno. Yeah.
Coffee, every tank of gas, every grocery run gave something back to you. With the Westar Flex.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No yawning. No yawn. That's when they say that in the bars. When you're at the bar, no yawning.
I like that.
I don't like yawning at the bar. Thing is, on Wednesday, I do a podcast with Rod Woodson, and we do that at 4:00. So get home for a little bit.
Honey and lemon.
Yeah, then I do that for Rod, and we do a lot of talking on that podcast. So no, I don't have hundreds of shirts. I wish people would send me shirts. If you'd like to send me a Raider shirt, I would love it. Raider shirts. What do we, Clay? 8755 West Flamingo? 89147?
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, that's the address. If anybody has Las Vegas, Nevada, obviously. If anybody has any extra large XL, I like XL. I don't wear medium. XL Raider shirts, Booster Club shirts. I love that. Yeah, if you got that, send it over.
Okay. Listen. Small class.
No, I'm not a double XL. I'm still an XL. But I could double XL if it gets washed wrong. Yeah.
Auto has expanded into one of the largest independent.
Yeah, Tommy, I can't trade Jordan Meredith, nor do I want to. You're not going to get anything for Jordan Meredith. Who's gonna give up a pick for Jordan Meredith? Why would you do that? He's our starting center.
Tooling and diagnostics with qualifying repairs. No appointment necessary. 24-hour service. ZipZap Auto at Cheyenne and North Durango Drive, and online at zipzapauto.com.
Hey, do we have any preseason basketball games here? Usually the Lakers, right? Lakers are playing here?
Yeah, always got the Kings matchup, right? Normally.
Right.
To be your choice. Call or text for more information. 702-736-3000. I'm also a mortgage man, so if no one will lend you, I'll lend you. I have a lot of money. Restoration, notary, and
Sacramento Kings signed Russell Westbrook.
I know. Geneva Financial, 393-995. JT for Virgin Hotels Las Vegas. I love the Fiesta brunch on the weekends, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. plus happy hour every day.
Oh, right. Okay. The short segment here, Clay.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a live read right here for Volvo, please.
First, Platt Comedy Tour. It's 24 Oxford with Sam Triple and from Hotels.com for all the details. Here. It's Monday Night Football, Westwood 1. It's all 6 o'clock for primetime action on the playoffs
And Super Bowl 60. Each week, Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner and I will have the call of great matchups, along with Mike Golick, senior and junior in the studio. Don't miss out on the great NFL tradition that is Monday Night Football.
Monday nights on Raider Nation Radio, 9:20 a.m.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by the DeCasta Verde Law Group. If you get injured in an accident, call 702-222-9999.
Shotgun. Smith's going to throw. Clean pocket. Scans, throws. Michael Mayer at the goal line. Charles, touch. And he his first down in 2 years. And the Raiders take a 9-0 lead with 5:13 to go in the second.
Yeah, great call. Jason Horowitz, voice of the Raiders, will join us in a few minutes. We're brought to you by Finley Volvo, Las Vegas. It's the sign and drive event. 0 down, 0 due at signing, 0 first payment. You can check out all their inventory at the site. Mike does an unbelievable job there. The EX30 SUV is a safe and brilliant vehicle. The EX90 SUV, the XC40 SUV. If you like a hybrid, if you want to lease, if you want to buy, all you got to do is go to Finley Volvo, Las Vegas. Tell them JT the Brick sent you. Say hi to Mike and test drive a vehicle. Once you test drive a new Volvo, you'll experience how smooth it runs, the great sound system, most importantly, the safety and the warranties. It's a fantastic connection for us. They're proud partners of Raider Nation Radio, and their whole team over there loves football, loves Raider Nation, and they want you to come by. Right off the 215, you cannot miss it. Right there, I drive by it 3 times a week, thanks to Mike and our whole team at Finley Volvo, Las Vegas, proud partner of our show. So you just heard Jason, who will join us coming up next. We're starting to see on social media people talking about trading Jakobi Meyers. Let me make this clear. I don't like trading players who are in contract years that you're going to get nothing for in return. Literally nothing. If the Buffalo Bills want to give something way over value for him, I like Jacoby. I don't want to see him go. I think Jacoby has value here with the team. Why wouldn't you think that? But what happens when you're a 2-win team, you're going to get a lot of that. And if it's 2-5, a lot of Raider fans are going to be saying because of the new modern NFL to go make a trade. I'm not against trades. I'm not. Not with a 2-5 team, a 3-4 team. I wouldn't trade anybody. I'd be actively looking to add to the roster. But you gave up picks for Geno. You gave up picks for Kenny Pickett. You might want to get some picks back. And John Spytek, I'm comfortable with making those decisions, along with Pete Carroll, Tom Brady, Mark Davis. If they all come together, have a moment that they say, we're going to move a player. There's certain players that you can move. There's a couple of untouchables on this team. I always said Max Crosby, Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty's brand new. There's good players on this team that are part of Pete's program going forward. And Pete and John Spytek got to find better players. We know they're going to get better players in another draft and in free agency. The money looks really good for the Raiders in free agency. But we want to beat Kansas City. We're not here to talk about trades on Wednesday. We get to the trade deadline, or if anything happens before, we'll be the first to report on it. But now let's stick with the team we got. Make sure they have a great week of practice. Travel well over to Kansas City and find a way, I think, to win. La Casa Cigars and Lounge at Tivoli Village. Was over there the other day, picked up a bunch of cigars. I walked in the humidor, I got lost. That's how big it is, 500 cigar labels. They got entertainment 7 nights a week. Stay tuned for details for their new grand reopening right next door. Go to lacasacigars.com and find them on Instagram. They got a fantastic social media presence, La Casa Cigars and Lounge.
Let's hop across the pond.
All right, everybody, we're good. We'll keep it here for Jason Horowitz. Jason Horowitz.
You want a couple minutes?
Yeah, let's go. Let's call him in. So we got Finley. What else did we do today? Yep, Finley's good.
Okay.
We're gonna give you. Let me see. Hello, everybody. I'm back. I'm gonna do a Grimaldi's. Thank you. Grimaldi's.
Andrew Device Square in Nevada. Sign up today and you will never miss another bet. With the largest wagering menu, the mobile sports app features same-game parlays, early
You can call him 2 minutes after. Just get me up and going.
Got it.
fantasy participants and location. Gambler.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by PT, the best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
Raider Nation has found its new home for daily Raiders content. This is Raider Nation Radio 920 AM, part of the Cosmic Sports Network, KRLV Las Vegas. It's the JT the Brick Show.
It takes us, we're going to win a bunch. And I don't care who hears that. I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
He's legendary. His track record speaks for itself. He competes every single day, and that's what I love about him.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
Am I willing to play harder longer than the guy lining up across, the team lining up across from me? And if you're not, then I want to be the space. That's where the Raiders make it. But I expect excellence every day.
And now here's JT the Brick.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the show, the voice of the Raiders, Jason Horowitz in a moment. We're brought to you by Grimaldi's Pizzeria, my favorite pizza. Period. I've been saying that because it is. You can get their famous New York-style coal-fired brick oven pizza. The menu's fabulous. They got great wine, a lot of great beer, which I love. I go to the Boca Park location. It's my go-to. On the Strip in the Grand Canal Shops at the Palazzo, Southwest Las Vegas on South Rainbow. And as you're climbing Eastern, Clay, when you climb Eastern, when you get off the 215 in Green Valley, thanks to Grimaldi's. We got a $50 Grimaldi's gift card to give out tomorrow or Friday to our loyal fans. Grimaldi's, the best pizza I've ever had, and my dad's favorite pizza. When my dad comes out here, we always go to Grimaldi's. We sit outside. And he loves it. And because my dad grew up as a kid in New York eating pizza, and he loves the Grimaldi's underneath the Brooklyn Bridge and loves all the locations. So I'm going to see my mom and dad next week. My son and I, my other son and wife are staying back. My son and I are going to play golf with my dad. How lucky. 3 generations of us. My dad's 87, and I'll play golf and with my dad and my son. And we're going to go out there for a couple of days to beautiful Naples, Florida. Please, can the TSA, can the air traffic controllers be there for us? Please. Can I please arrive on time? Because mostly when you travel, you want your plane to land. Land doesn't have to be on time. You want it to land. But as I travel to Naples, Florida to see mom and dad next week with my son, just please let the flights be on time. And as Jason Horowitz knows, because he travels as much as anybody, the government shutdown or not, just please have the TSA workers and the air traffic controllers, Jason, who I know you care so much about because you fuel the economy in the air. How are you?
Good. I'd like to also hope that the airport you're going to doesn't have the ridiculous video that Christy Noem is trying to put out there. But other than that, I hope your flights are safe. And I hope you get land safely, yes. And I hope everybody treats everybody with respect, because let's be honest, it's not their fault that all of this has happened.
As a play-by-play guy and a broadcaster, not just with the Raiders, traveling, it's really unique there because games end on Saturday, college games end, pro games start. Travel is essential, not just for you and Kirk Morrison, but all of your colleagues, the men and women around this country who work for ESPN, CBS, Westwood. Someone has to thread that needle, and the people that book all those travel dates really play a big role in your life, right?
Well, I've actually found it pretty interesting because so I'm one of 32, right, for the NFL teams who are lucky enough to do this job. And, I was doing a lot of college games before this, and the Raiders had asked to kind of relent a little bit of that just because of where I live and where the team is and all, and that was totally fine.
Yeah.
But I would say probably close to a third of my colleagues do college on Saturday and then this job on Sunday. And I've often wondered how nervous they are about making Sunday because, like, Gene Deckerhoff, the great Gene Deckerhoff, one of my favorite voices of all time.
Yes.
People who don't know, he's the voice of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and probably has been for like 35 years. But he was also 35 or so years the voice of the Florida State Seminoles. And so he would have to get from wherever the Seminoles were playing on Saturday, and as good as they were, how often were they playing Saturday night, and try to get. And he told me last year when we were in Tampa, I never met him. I talked to him, but I never met him. He told me last year he'd only ever missed 1.5 games. And the half, he was stuck at the tarmac in Chicago, and he made it for the second half at Soldier Field. And so, like, you know, to me, that's fascinating. Dave Pasch, I'm friends with the guy who he does games with, Dusty Dvorak. I said to Dusty once, I'm like, hey, how's Dave feel like every Saturday? He's like, oh, he's nervous as heck every weekend. But he never misses the game. So, you know, most of the time it works out.
Last game, glasses half full, the Raiders won. They won playing complimentary football. I was really surprised when I looked back at the stats and not a pass attempt, incomplete or complete, over 20 yards. When you look back at the game plan, I think Coach Carroll told me it was the game plan, the short passing game and getting Ashton going. But are you a little bit concerned that they're not stretching the field at all now?
No, and the only reason why I think so, a couple of things. One, you need to show it against Tennessee. So that's one. I mean, look, let's be honest. In a game where you dominated the first half the way that the defense did, I think you think that you could be up more than 10-0 and hope that you get more than one drive. Because I don't know if you were listening to this part, JT, but the first drive, the Raiders had 53 yards. The ensuing 3 or 4 drives of the first half, the Raiders had 2. And those 2 yards started at the 2-yard line. So I do think that there's a concern there, but I also think that until, and hopefully this happens this year, maybe never, but I hope it happens this week or next or after the bye. I don't really think we can judge this offense in entirety until you have a healthy Brock Bowers, because the receiving core, right, receivers and tight ends, can't be looked at as whole and aren't being asked to do what they're supposed to do if Brock's not part of the plan. And you know, he was part of, quote unquote, the plan the 3 weeks before he set out to, but not really. And so I think you can ask that question if he plays this weekend, but more so against the Jaguars, against the Broncos, against the Cowboys, after he's had extra time to rest up.
Doesn't this feel like this would be a great matchup for Dante Thornton? Right, Arrowhead, we've seen the Raiders throw the long ball there, the deep intermediate routes there. I mean, he was drafted to be that guy. He wasn't drafted to be, you know, a 5 to 10 yard possession receiver. We have 2 tight ends to do that in Jacoby. And even though his snap count was down significantly, I think he's a good matchup in this game against Kansas City and what they're going to match up when it comes to his size, especially in the red zone.
So part of me hopes part of the reason that Tennessee happened was that they showed something different this week. I think you're right about that. But, you know, I two parts to that, though, JT. Number one is it's on Dante, right? You know, I know what you're saying about what he was drafted for, but a guy with that size, that speed, and that yards per catch at Tennessee, you also still have to wonder, why did he have 65 catches in his entire career? I think there is and that's also why he's a 4th-round draft pick, right? That doesn't mean he's not going to be a valuable piece to this franchise at some point in the next year or 2 year, whatever. But I don't know that it's there, and because if it were, I think we'd see a little bit more. So that's A. But B, I think, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I think the national perception of the Chiefs is wrong. First of all, the AFC is theirs to be had, right? The best teams in the AFC, record-wise, you're looking at the Colts at 5-1, and then it's a combo of the Bills, the Broncos, the Chargers, and then the Chiefs are right there. And I know they're 3-3, but you know, they were right there with the Chargers in Brazil. They are, you know, a weird play against the Jaguars away from beating them on the road, and the Jaguars are 4-2. So the Chiefs aren't 15-2 going to win every one possession game this year, but are they 11-5, 11-6, 12-5 good and possible Super Bowl team again? Maybe. And I think their defense is still you know, aggressive dudes, and we got to be careful with that.
Yeah, Jason, I'm interested in running the ball at Chris Jones or not. At times, it's been effective for the Raiders to run at Khalil Mack. to run at Bosa when he played for the Chargers because they're doing these loop around pass rushes. You catch him inside and you run right at him. I avoid Chris Jones at all costs. Other than Aaron Donald, he's been the best to play as a first gold jacket Hall of Famer when he comes out after the 5-year wait. And Ashton hasn't had a lot of success running in between the tackles. I think he's better outside. How do you say it?
I kind of like these speed options that we're running. It's happening probably once or twice a game the last 2-3 weeks, and I know they're trying to catch them off guard. It's a lot of those, or some of them on spots where it's either 1st and 10 or 3rd and short. But I kind of like them, and I'd like to see some more of that RPO game, more of the run pass option. I know a lot of that's kind of out of the shotgun, and you pull it out of the belly and make quick throws and all that stuff. But I'd like to see some of that college stuff incorporated here, moving into this game, and then maybe kind of actually run old school option 3-4 times to get him outside, to get him in space. Because JT, it only takes one, right? It only takes one break to the outside where he gets a one-on-one and gets outside and gone. And how big of a play that could be. So I'm with you on the outside stuff. I'd like to continue to throw it to him outside with one-on-one. I know the Titans had a bunch of good tackles on him and Trey Tucker in one-on-one situations. I think more often than not, you're going to break a couple of tackles. I take those guys.
Yep. Voice of the Raiders, Jason Horowitz. So what's going on with Malcolm Kuntz? I mean, I'm just looking at the stat list, but you're doing the game with Kirk Morrison, and is he getting close? Is he making good decisions, getting chipped? He's making money, and he's playing in a contract year. I mean, he's got to get going and help Max on the other side.
So I think one thing to remember, too, and I'm not saying that's going to happen again, but I don't know if you looked at JT the year that he had the breakout year. Yeah. It was all the second half of the season.
It was.
Right? I want to say 6 of his 8 or 7 of his 8 sacks came in the final 9 games. And 3 of them were once against Patrick Mahomes in 2023. So, I think maybe some guys take time to get going. We would have said the same thing about Tyree Wilson the last couple of years. I have it in my notes from the last couple of weeks because he's starting to play really well. He had a really good game against the Titans. I don't think up in the first 2 years he had a sack until week 7 in any of his first couple of years. And now he's got 3. So I think it's a combination of some of the other guys up front are playing better. It's hard right now to take Jonah Laulu off the field. You want Tyree Wilson on the field, Max, and then you get a combination of Thomas Booker and Adam Butler. So whatever combo that 5 is running, Malcolm Kuntz you'd think is an important piece, and I hope he is. But he's not playing to the same level as the other 5 guys, so the other 5 guys got to be on the field.
Yeah, I know he had a big game in Kansas City before he got hurt. Really big game. It kind of put him on the map nationally where everybody talked about him. As we wrap this up in a few moments, tell me about what you think the game plan could be. Because, again, you made a really good point, very important to our show, that they held some stuff back to beat Tennessee, and they did. And now maybe they have more in their toolbox to show in this game. But I think it's a running game with Ashton Jeanty. Hopefully he can control the game in the running game. That's a big ask. And then Geno cutting down on the turnovers. And look, we've seen everyone from Jack Jones to other players step up and play big on the road at Arrowhead. I just don't know who the corner is going to be or the safety who's going to be who can maybe have a career-defining game.
Well, I still think that Eric Stokes has played really well. And remember, at Indianapolis, he didn't play. But Eric Stokes also, he hasn't gotten his hands on any balls, right? People are testing the other side of the field and the middle more than they're testing him. I think that's by design, but can he get his hands on a ball? Can Caillou Blue Kelly get that pick? I think that's going to be important. And it's really hard to ask that question, right? You're playing Patrick Mahomes, you're in Arrowhead. It's hard, but I do think that's got to happen sooner rather than later. For these guys, we're going to have to see the corners come up with a pick here or there. And I hope that's this weekend because we all know this, JT. If the Raiders are -1 or worse in turnover margin, they're not going to win the game.
Yeah.
They're not good enough right now as a squad to make up for those type of mistakes or mistakes in the kicking game. So it seems simple, but they have to play a clean game. So it means sure tackles, no turnovers. Get 3rd and short. It has to be that for them to have a chance in the fourth quarter to win this game.
What's it like calling a game from Arrowhead? Because we'll check in with you on game day on the pregame show.
High up.
Is it?
You are shaking hands with God. That's how high up you are, JT.
Really?
It is really high. Oh yeah.
With all the they've done some modernization there. I know there's a really cool YouTube video about the car collection underground and the Hunt Suite. It's got 3 stories with a Christmas tree and a bedroom. I mean, they've done some things to modernize it. You would have thought they'd get around to the press box.
Well, a lot of people don't really find that part of the football stadium experience important anymore because it doesn't pay them dollars.
Right.
In all fairness, like M&T Bank in Baltimore is it's a great stadium. It's one of the older stadiums of the new stadiums, and they just redid it and built some more suites in the press box that up until 2023 was at the 40-yard line. It's a great booth. It's big, it's large, it's roomy, but it's in the corner now. So it's just kind of how the way the world is, and I'm sure the Titans with their new stadium and the Bills with theirs will kind of be the same. Credit to our boss, Brad Finney. He's even thinking about helping Kirk and I move down to the TV booth. They don't need that big of a booth. He's talking about moving us maybe down to the second level. So we got a great boss. No, but look, it's a great view. You're on the 40-yard line, 45-yard line, so whatever it is, you're just high. But you also can hear the volume. You can see all the red. So it's a fun place to go. The Raiders have played really well the last 3 trips.
Three.
The Josh McDaniels year, Monday night, 30-29 loss, 17-0. We played well. 2 years ago, Christmas Day win. And then, Black Friday last year, you should have had an opportunity for Daniel Carlson to win the game. Unfortunately, we had the miscommunication between JPJ and Aiden O'Connell and never happened. But my point is, that's 3 straight trips to Arrowhead with 3 losing Raiders teams that had chances to win or won the game. So hopefully we make it 4 in a row.
Safe travels. We'll talk to you on game day. Thank you, sir.
You too. Have a safe trip to Florida.
You got it. There he is. Jason Horowitz, the voice of the Raiders, right here on our show. And that was brought to you by MRide, the luxury concierge shuttle service. Let me tell you about this service because my buddy Teo Johnson and Eddie came up with this concept. It's incredible. So now my wife takes MRide. Why? Because it's perfect. You can get picked up at several locations here. And the next thing you know, you're taken right up to the stadium. It's waiting for you when you get out of there. So I get a parking pass. I got to stay late. I do the post-game show. And my wife, I'm going to MRide it. I say, MRide it. It's the easiest way to go. Plus, we have a promo code, BRICK. So you get the same deal my wife gets. Look at that. I can't get you a better deal than the deal my wife gets. I get the hookup in town. You know that, but my wife gets pretty good deals too. So ride like a pro, MRide it, and you'll get in and out quickly. I want everybody to get in and out of that stadium quickly because I don't want complaining. I don't like when people complain, well, they took my purse. It was too big. I had to wait. No. We have the deals that tell you how to get inside and out of Allegiant quickly. Listen to us, please. If you start taking MRide, you'll never go back. MRide it to the game, MRide.com. Use my promo code BRICK and ride like a pro. All right. Vinny Bonsignore in minutes. We go right from Jason, the voice of the Raiders, to Vinny, who asked the first question at every press conference. What more can we do for you? I mean, what more? We got Clay running the show with great opinions, too. So we're excited. We got a good show going today, hopefully on the road to beating the Chiefs.
Tailgate.
All right, that's done with the reads. MRide, we're done for the day. Stay in the chat. We have 2 more guests, so I'm going to stay in the chat here till the end of the show. Bonus Bricktator. All right.
Morning tailgate. Days at 7 a.m. Raider Nation Radio, 9:20 a.m.
Quit Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly. When you need legal advice, you need the brothers. You need the DeCastroverde Law Firm. This is JT. They're my attorneys, and they should be yours, too. For personal injuries and accidents, reach out to the DeCastroverde Law Firm. Let their family fight for yours. This is JT for the local 872, proud partners at Raider Nation Radio. Led by Tommy White, built in this city on time and on budget. Go to local872.com to find out about apprenticeships, career paths, all the public work zones, and the schedules that are happening here in our valley. I'm proud to be associated with the 872, proud partners of my show and Raider Nation Radio.
Your defending national champion UNLV Rebel hockey team is back on the ice this Friday and Saturday night, taking on Grand Canyon University. Tickets are $15 for kids and $20 for adults. Puck drops at 7:20 at City National Arena. Presented by the UBS Store.
Hey, it's JT. Grimaldi's is hands down my favorite pizza in Vegas. Only at Grimaldi's can you get their famous New York style coal-fired pickup and pizza. Grimaldi's has 4 locations in the Vegas Valley, or check them out online at Grimaldi'sPizzeria.com.
Ready to hit the road in a new ride? One Nevada Credit Union believes your life should be rewarded. With a new or refinanced auto loan, One Nevada will let you skip payments for 90 days. You really can drive now and pay later. At One Nevada, we offer freedom from payment stress and more money in your pocket, so you spend less time worrying about financing and more time enjoying the drive. Check out the benefits of a One Nevada auto loan today at onenevada.org.
How's your son doing? Oh, he's good then.
Good.
Russell's really good starting to grade.
Oh, good. Palo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Palo Verde High School. That is a really good high school for your son to go to.
Yeah, we're fortunate. We live across the street. He can walk there every day. So.
Oh, that's where you are? Good.
Yeah.
Our team has the expertise to make sure your coverage meets
It's all about the hair, though. You remember you're 14 to make sure that hair is just so. I was wondering, hey, if it's raining, where's the umbrella? I'm like, it's gonna rain here in 2 years. We need an umbrella. All right, we got an umbrella.
If it rains when you're 14 going to school, bring a brush or a comb.
Right? Yeah.
That's all you're going to get from mom and dad, not an umbrella.
No.
Let's say it's analysis now. That's easy.
See, I walked to my elementary school, walked.
Yeah.
It was right around the block from me.
Yeah.
My junior high school, I had to take the bus.
Yep.
Then my high school, I took my bike, or when we were old enough to drive, and I was young. I was born in November, so I was young in my class. My buddies started driving, and my buddies would pick me up, and then I drove to high school.
Okay, let's spend the afternoon. It's just over on Decatur and Okie.
You know, Fantastic's open every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 10 to 6. And like they say, it's fantastic.
And like they say, we've got it. I'm on a roll this football season because I don't miss any betting opportunities with my William Hill Nevada mobile sports app. It allows me to bet on the go with my Android device.
Say, Vinny, it's playing,
William Hill has you covered.
All right, just get time for a couple minutes.
And when you sign up today for a new William Hill Nevada
Okay,
mobile
stand by.
sports
We
account,
come back.
earn up to a $250 bonus bet after placing your first qualifying check. Try NFL Flips.
There's a check zone.
For a chance to win
Thomas Booker fumble recovery.
His sign-up location, visit williamhill.us. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Every game on the schedule is important, and yet this game the Raiders play in Kansas City against the Chiefs might just mean a little bit more. Can the silver and black go into Arrowhead and grab the victory and let all of Raider Nation truly enjoy the bye week that follows? Find out by listening in Sunday with our pregame coverage at 8 at kickoff.
And the Gino and Ashton press if you need to go.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by M Resort Spa and Casino, the official hotel of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Ward the snap. 5-step drop. Shuffles to his left. The ball's off the turf. It's on it. Nobody hit him. Ward just dropped it like he thought it was first there. Thomas Booker has the fumble recovery. And the Raiders defense fittingly ends this game with a takeaway. They dominated Tennessee, and they have the ball in their hands to finish this ball game.
Yep, and they finish it and finish up with Tito's. Tito's Handmade Vodka, proud partner of the show as we continue on. Real quick, we're going to bring in Vinny. Bengals star Trey Hendrickson is officially questionable. Hip injury for Thursday Night Football. That's a name that could be traded. Vinny Bonsignor joins us, our morning show host and Raiders insider. Before we get going, are you led to believe that the league overall will do a bunch of trades now. We'll get to the Raider name rumors, Jacoby Myers, whoever. But overall, I think these young GMs, I've been talking about it on my other show, want to make a name for themselves. And if they can get the team better or get picks for the draft, they'll do deals.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And, you have to always look at everybody in your building. And then an old general manager, Ned Coletti, taught me this lesson. Everybody that's in your building is an asset, one way or another, whether it's to be helping you on the field or maybe as a trade asset to improve your team. I mean, that's just how professional sports rolls. And so, I don't think that anybody's throwing up any white flag anytime soon around here. And so a lot's going to be predicated on what happens between now and then. I think that's the only focus right now is what's going to happen between now and the trade deadline, because who knows? Maybe the Raiders are buyers. I mean, I just got finished talking to Geno Smith, and he was explaining to us, like, look, last year the Seattle Seahawks were 4-5 at the bye week, which is what the Raiders almost have a chance to be close to at 3-4 if they can win this game against the Kansas City Chiefs. And by the way, they won 10 games last year, and the only thing that missed the reason they missed the playoffs was there was like a 5-team, tiebreaker type of a deal that nixed them out of the playoffs. So 4-5 to go to win 10 games. Nobody's quitting here. There's no white flag being thrown up around here, and I don't think anybody wants to hear about any kind of trade, speculation or what they're going to do at the trade deadline. I know it's looming, but it's still a ways away, and there's a lot of football to be played between now and then.
As you talk to Geno, what's evolved with your conversations, or more importantly, what you're sensing from him? I think he's incredible at the podium. It really is. He's fantastic at it because his story's so unique about being a backup, the injuries coming into play, and all the professionalism he learned under Pete Carroll, but especially Russell Wilson. How could that be helping him right now? Because we know he's wearing these losses emotionally. He gives us a nugget from time to time, like he needs to jump in the ocean or the lake with that interception to get this mojo gone. But what'd you think today with his body language and his attitude as he met the media?
Yeah, to me, he screams, I've been here and done this. This isn't my first rodeo. I'm not freaking out because the record isn't where you want it to be in October. That's where we are right now. It's October, right? We're not in December, not in January. We're in October. There's still, and that wisdom that he has, that experience that he has, is tells him there's no reason to panic right now. Go look at the standings in the AFC. I think forget about the AFC. What about just the NFL in general? The longest winning streak this year of NFL teams is a 3-game winning streak. Heck, the Chicago Bears, coming off their bye week, have a chance to win their 3rd straight game, and that was a team that the Raiders really should have beaten a couple of weeks ago. The AFC is a total flux. The NFC, I feel, is a little bit more top heavy, but everybody's still trying to find out who they are right now, and the Raiders included. And you get to just keep chipping away. So if you talk about Geno, that's the presence that he has and the wisdom that he has of just keep chipping away, trying to find yourself. You got a whole bunch of young wide receivers, some young offensive linemen, new players at various positions, new coaches, a new offensive coordinator. And these aren't excuses. This is the reality of what this 2025 Raiders team is dealing with right now. And you're 6 games into a season and nothing's been lost. Everything is still out in front of you. Obviously, they got to go out there and take it and make it happen. But there's no sense of, quitting right now or selling the farm or anything like that. There's plenty of time for this thing to get right. And, obviously it starts with a competitive and winning effort on Sunday against a really good Kansas City Chiefs team.
Vinny Bonsignore's our guest. What do you like about the complementary football they played against the Titans, the whole overall scheme, offense, defense, and special teams?
Yeah, well, number one, obviously taking care of the ball and winning the turnover battle is huge. It's just this. How about playing with a lead for nearly 40 minutes? That was double how much of a lead the Raiders have played with cumulatively throughout the course of the season. They've led for 26% of the time going into the game, into that game on Sunday. They've had the lead 26% of the time. In their 5 previous games. It changes everything when you have a lead as a defense. Number one, the offense has to now play from behind. So that changes how plays are being called. The quarterback has to hold on to the ball a little bit longer. That allows the defense to do things that they want to do rather than the offense dictating terms. not having special teams gaps, being able to tackle well, which is what the Raiders did for the most part, on Sunday. And so it was a blueprint. It's the exact blueprint that the Raiders need to follow. Forget who the opponent is. It's more about, at this stage of their development, how do the Raiders win football games? And that was a clear illustration on Sunday of how they have to go about doing it. And they're not good enough to have multiple letdowns in terms of, if you're going to lose the turnover battle, you better win the special teams battle. But you can't lose both. That's for darn sure. And in some of these losses, they've lost both of those battles. They've lost the battle in the red zone. They won that on Sunday. They've lost the third down, battle. They did pretty well in that regard. So that's the blueprint for the Raiders, and they have to play precision, efficient football to give themselves a chance. And when they do, they have a chance.
Yeah, Vinny, I don't expect, nor anybody does, for them to pitch a shutout. They'll pitch like Blake Snell and what we saw last night. I don't think they're going to have the perfect game on defense because they play a zone. At times it's a soft zone, and I think Kansas City's got great athletic receivers who are going to find the soft windows in that zone. But this bend, don't break really is the thing I think they have to put their hat on, lay their hat on in this game. They have to bend, but not break, and keep them out of the end zone. And hopefully Mahomes settles for field goals, because Caillou doesn't have the experience. Chin comes from a new team, so he doesn't have a lot of experience with these players other than 5 games. Stokes, I'm confident with. Palomal, we'll see. I think he flashes a lot. I'd like to see some more turnovers. And the linebackers, I think, are the veterans, are going to be lined up correctly here if they don't go for a lot of that eye candy that all coaches have explained to me in the past that Kansas City shows.
Yeah, and then also you have a defensive line that's coming off its best game of the season. That's all part, right there. And I felt like, Caillou Blue Kelly actually took a step in the right direction. On Sunday there were some things that the Raiders did from a schematic point that kind of helped him a little bit. Again, this is learning who they are and what they are. And I know that frustrates fans. It probably frustrates guys, the coaches and everybody else, because they want it to happen right away. But it doesn't always work out that way. And so, the exact things that you're talking about, bend but don't break, win the battle in the red zone when it gets down to that, defensively and offensively, but also takeaways. The takeaways are so huge. And it was interesting because last week when we talked to Eric Stokes on a Thursday, on Turnover Thursday, he was telling Q and I were talking to him about how, on Thursdays they chart who gets the turnovers, like how many turnovers for the defense, how many times did the offense not turn it over. And for 3 straight weeks going into last Thursday's practice, the defense hadn't forced, a turnover. And he's like, we want to change that. So, to talk to him today, and to find out, because we didn't talk to Eric Stokes after that Thursday practice. Well, what did you guys do? And it turns out that the defense forced some turnovers in last Thursday's practice. That carried over into the game on Sunday, and it's a huge priority. So, yes, bend but don't break and win the red zone. But forcing some takeaways, coming up with some takeaways will be huge, too, especially on the road against the Chiefs.
Vinny, last one on baseball. I'm struggling even as a Yankee fan with the Dodgers payroll, because my Yankees always had a big payroll, always, but they had a lot of homegrown guys, a lot. Jeter, Rivera, Bernie Williams. I can go down, Andy Pettit. I'll go down the list, and then they sprinkled in some veterans. This Dodger team's over $420 million. They got guys in the back end of that lineup that are just better than the Mariners, the Blue Jays, and especially the Brewers here. And they didn't play well. At any point this season, the Dodgers were not great. They were good at times, and they were underachievers. Now they're peaking. They're getting 8-9 innings out of their pitchers. The bottom of their lineups carrying them as Ohtani can barely hit. And I think a lot of it has to do with their payroll. Knowingly, like it did with my Yankees, the Mets try to have that type of payroll too. How do you look at this Dodger team? Because about a month ago, I didn't think they'd be World Series champs. Now I think they're going to win and have 2 pieces to a dynasty in place.
Yeah, well, as part of the group that's not a Yankee fan, which is, 10% of the world that's Yankee fans, 90% of the rest of us, boo-hoo about that. Because for years, it was just the Yankees spending that kind of money. And, to some extent, the Boston Red Sox. And what did the Guggenheim Group say when they took over the Dodgers? They wanted to be Yankees West. Well, they aren't just Yankees West. They've completely surpassed the Yankees in terms of payroll. And what do I have to say about that? So what? Then go spend money. Tell your Yankees to start spending the money the way the Dodgers spend money, and that's just the way that's gonna happen. Now, I do believe somewhere down the line there's going to be some semblance of of a salary cap that gets introduced into baseball. That's going to take a few years, but until then, whether it's Steve Cohen with the Mets or the Red Sox or what the Dodgers are doing, that's how you have to win or sustain. What the Dodgers, what an organization like the Dodgers are doing. And let's face it, too. This is the last thing I'll say. I don't care how much money you spend. You have to spend money the right way. You have to build the right way. And for all the free agents that the Dodgers have, they also have some homegrown talent without question. They make fantastic decisions. They have a fantastic manager. So it's not just spending money. There's a lot that goes into being a winning baseball team for as long as they've been a winning baseball team. And so I don't like the Dodgers. I'm not a Dodger fan or anything like that. But I certainly tip my cap to them for not only putting their money where their mouth is, but then also making great decisions behind it.
Let's thank your partners for your wonderful appearance here with us today. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And I was just kidding about your Yankees. So no hard feelings. Even though they've been a thorn in my Mets side for a long, long time. So half kidding. Let's just put it that way. Local Loca Tequila. If you want to experience the best new tequila brand in Las Vegas, go check them out over at all the Lee's Liquors here in Las Vegas. Get everything that they put out over at Lee's Liquors.
Thank you, Vinny. I'll see you in the building. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
There's Vinny Bonsignore joining us. I've had a couple of people in the chat say, JT's blanket about the Dodgers. JT's a hypocrite. No, JT's doing his job. JT's telling you that the Dodgers are out of control, lunatic spenders. I am accurate. If you think I'm this and I have an agenda, that's your opinion. I just read it. I'm telling you the truth. When do I ever go on the show and never say the truth? Now, am I biased? Do I dislike the Broncos? Yeah, but do I tell you they have an unbelievable sack exchange now and they're playing better defense? Yes. So what do you want me to do, Dodger fans? Tell everybody you're evenly matched with everybody else? 2nd and 4, you want me to say, man, look at the Dodgers, man. They're playing so well. They have the same payroll as the Brewers and they're doing great. Oh, I'm telling you that they have no limits on their budget, and other teams who spend a lot have limits, and they don't. Does that give them a better chance to win? Yes. And they weren't any good this year. What's pissing me off, Clay, about the Dodgers is they weren't any good this year. They were terrible in points of the season. They weren't even competitive. They lost 6 games to the Brewers this year.
Yeah.
So what's bothering me and really eating at me is I was hoping they'd lose. They're not. And I was hoping someone would clip them. My Yankees were never going to beat the Dodgers this year. I was hoping the Phillies, the Brewers would do it, or your Tigers. I thought the Tigers were better than the Dodgers for most of the year, and now the Tigers are out of it.
And think how close the Phillies came to clipping them and changing the whole narrative. But it almost seems like ever since they won in 2020, the World Series, there's been an insecurity like, well, that wasn't enough because it was a shortened year. So they win in 2024. They get their 8th World Series title, but the world is not enough. They need to go more. They think that they now have to have this dynasty with all the money they have, and probably they do. But at the same time, they're still facing an insecurity that they're never good enough.
All right, we got a new guest coming up next. When we come back, we're going to talk to Leonard Stevens. He has Your Raiders Show. It's a really good YouTube, podcast, video show on the Raiders. I bumped into him at Resorts World. Our wives met. They were having cigars. And I said, hey, man, I want to get you on the show. I think what you're doing is cool. Let's hear what he has to say next as we continue on the flagship.
When you ask about Ashton Genty, is he the guy at 6th overall? In just these 3 weeks, forget the production, which is awesome. Those moments off the field, those moments without the ball, leaps and bounds, impressive.
He cut through all the red tape and it's like, I'm going to be me, and I'm going to go up
Yeah,
to
you
the
know,
quarterback.
the Dodgers stuff, thank God you got someone like me on the air who's not kissing the Dodgers' ass. And for all you Dodger fans that are here, I don't kiss your ass. I don't want you to win. I want you to lose. And all you freaking Dodger fans hate the Yankees, so why do you give a shit? You want the Yankees to lose more than anybody, you Dodger fans. You get all offended that I say you spend all this money? Well, where am I wrong again? Oh, I'm not wrong. You're lunatics with your payrolls. You added Snell and Yamamoto to an already established pitching staff. You couldn't do that if you weren't out of control spenders.
Responsibly.
Like the Dodgers are so good, right? Like Dodgers are only that good because they're spending stupid money. So they're going to continue to spend stupid money and probably continue to win.
Just 3-round straight.
It's amazing when you tell the facts about a team, the Dodgers. Ohtani's not hitting in the postseason. Dodgers have a $415 million payroll. And Dodger fans yell at you like, what did I say wrong again? Ohtani is not hitting, and you got over $400 million in payroll to teams that have $100 million. And you want to fight me on that? You want to argue that?
See your game day whiskey. It is now. Raise a bottle at your next tailgate and toast to the silver and black. A limited edition black Hole bottles now available at woodsandwhiskey.com. It's a promo code JT the Brick at checkout for 15% off. That's woodsandwhiskey.com, the official whiskey of Raider Nation. Please celebrate responsibly.
When you are injured, someone has your back, change it. Our family has spent over 3 decades fighting and pursuing justice for the injured. It's a long family heritage that we proudly carry on. From our father, to our family, to the expert legal team at DeCastro Verde, we founded this for you. We're the DeCastro Verde Brothers, and we have your back.
Brotherswin.com.
When you need cash, how quickly can LendingStore.com connect you to a lender faster than this car?
All right, we got one more segment to go. I'm actually packing up right now because we have a show right after me, so I pack up early.
Down to $500 to $5,000 as early as tomorrow. So visit LendingStore.com today for details. See website for details. Lending Store is not a lender and does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old and not available in all states.
Did you know what's raised here?
They call this guy, or is he calling us?
That's right. When you visit your favorite McDonald's restaurant and round up your order to the nearest dollar, your donation stays right here in Vegas to help the families stay in a Ronald McDonald
This guy
House.
calling us, or is he
Yeah, he's calling us.
Okay.
Hospital.
He's going to call us, and then we'll be out of here. Yep.
It's the best medicine of all.
Hey, my Kelsey video now has 1,100,000 views. Shouldn't I make a little bit of money on that, man? Where's my money on Twitter? Shouldn't Twitter give me a little bit of cash? Pay for some gas or lunch?
Team on the 18th for some Halloween fun.
Hayes and Raider fans shouldn't root for the Dodgers at all. Only Dodger fans should root for the Dodgers. Now, if you're a Raider fan and a Dodger fan, amen. I don't have a problem with that. A lot of Raider fans were A's fans.
All right, 10 seconds.
Rank here, Westwood
I'll let you know where that goes in.
Join me this week for Sunday Night Football from Santa Clara when the San Francisco 49ers host the Atlanta Falcons. Michael Penix and 3-2 Atlanta are flying high after Monday night's win against the Bills. Now they'll face the 49ers squad at 4-2, dealing with injuries and the loss last week. Join us for all the action.
All right, Leonard.
On Raider Nation Radio.
All right, stay right there.
Yeah.
Mia.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Modelo Especial, the new #1 beer in the U.S.
Gino up the middle. The Jetties. Touchdown. Deuce in the end zone. The Raiders the opening drive and go up 16-0 with 7:04 to go here in the third.
Yeah, Raiders are trying to put that game away, but, after that, they only scored 3 more points the rest of the game. I thought they got a bit conservative, but they had to win the game. JT, back with you. Leonard Stevens joins me from Your Raiders Show, which is a really cool podcast and videocast and stream that I've seen. And I bumped into him at Resorts World after the Eric Allen dinner and wanted to get him on the show. Leonard, thanks for doing this. How are you, buddy?
I'm great, Ethan. It was great meeting you and your lovely wife the other night, and thanks for allowing me to be on your show.
Well, thank you. It's great to meet your wife, too. Tell us about what you do. What's different with your coverage of the Raiders and your passion for the silver and black?
Well, I've been a Raider fan for most of my life. I seen my first Raider game in 1967, and I've been a Raider fan ever since. I own a TV network, Our TV. You can go there and you can watch us live. We stream obviously worldwide on several platforms: Roku, Fire TV, Joy TV, Apple TV, or you can look at video on demand, and that's where you can find your Raiders show. We do a recap after every game and talk about the upcoming games, like the one we have coming up with the Kansas City Chiefs.
So how did you come up with this concept for this television network and what you're doing? What was the thought process behind that? How'd you pull it off?
I've been a helper my entire life, and it's a long story, but to make it short, I was trying to help my golf instructor get on TV, and the late, great Chauncey Bailey, the editor for the Oakland Tribune, he was starting a TV network. And I went there, and, in my other life, I'm a consultant, so I say, hey, well, perhaps you guys might want to try this, or you might want to consider that. And after a few weeks, unanimously, they voted me the CEO and president of our TV. And me being an athlete, I love challenges, so I didn't turn it down, even though at the time I didn't know anything about television. That was way back in 2004. We've been broadcasting now for over 2 decades.
Leonard Stevens is our guest. Let's get to the Raiders. The glass is half full, the one against the Titans. What did you like about that game, and what could possibly help the Raiders get back on track?
Well, what I liked about the game was the fact that we played complementary. On all 3 phases, we played well. Especially even with the sprained ankle, AJ came through, pinned him back 4 times within 5 to 20. That allowed them to have a long field, and obviously one of them led to 7 points. And Stephen White was able to get splits and so would have trapped Cam Ward on the 2-yard line. And a few plays later, we were in the zone. I thought the defense played well. I was very impressed with, especially Jonah Wow. He also played an exceptional team, and being tied with Max now with 4 centers. I think it's the presence that will allow us to kind of forget about Mr. Wilkins.
Leonard Stevens.
Actually totally redeemed himself, but he did have a redemption by completing 17 of 23. So only had 6 incompletions, and the one bonehead with the interception he threw. But I thought it was a pretty good game overall on all 3 pieces of the game.
Leonard Stevens is our guest. So we've been struggling with Geno all year on this show because we like him. We know he's a good leader. People don't want to hear that he's a good guy. I don't know why people don't want to hear that. He's a good guy, and he loves being a Raider, and he wants to be great. He wants to be a Pro Bowler again. When you look at Geno and you're discussing it on your platform, what do you think he has to do to keep the game competitive and have a big game, maybe an upset win at the Chiefs?
Well, I'll tell you this really quick. In 1969, we had a quarterback by the name of Joe LaMonica, and he was known as the Mad Bomber. He was the NFL MVP that year. He threw 34 touchdowns, but he also threw 25 interceptions. Mind you, JT, that was back when there was only a 12-game season, so he averaged over 2 interceptions a game. My point in bringing that up is that Geno is probably the best deep ball thrower in the league right now, and nobody could compare to throwing a deep ball other than Daryl LaMonica. So basically, I'm not really concerned about the picks. I think the law averages will balance out, and he'll have more touchdowns by the end of the year than he will have, than he'll have interceptions. I do think that the Raiders' offense is a work in progress. I feel like that they're going to get better and better, and like I've told people all along, it does matter slightly how well you're playing in September and October, but more importantly, the team that's hot going into December and January is the team that's going to go further to make the playoffs or to go further in the playoffs. So I'm not really worried about it. I think Geno needs to let the game come to him, take what the defense allows him to take, but I also think that he needs to incorporate the deep ball because, again, that's his strength, is throwing the deep ball. So we got to take our shots, but, that depends heavily on him getting time, because if he gets time, he can deliver the dime. That also depends on the offensive line.
Yeah, I agree a lot with what you're saying. I agree with everything you just said. His deep ball is the reason he's here. He never would have been brought in by Tom Brady, John Spytek, and Pete Carroll if he didn't have a track record of throwing the deep ball. And the deep ball is a big deal. There's a lot of Raider fans who are down on Geno now, and I remind them what he did and how good he was at other times, and they don't want to hear it. And it bothers me that those fans could be that ignorant not to remember what Geno did to deserve an opportunity to stay in Seattle for the same amount of money or come to the Raiders. That was a deserving deal he got to come to Las Vegas to be the quarterback. He just hasn't delivered on it yet. And, you say it's a law of averages, it'll balance out. It'd be nice if it balanced out against Kansas City. As we wrap this up, I want your thoughts on the rivalry with the Chiefs, because you go back to the late 60s and watching this, and you saw the good Len Dawson years and the great years of Derek Thomas. Joe Montana played there, but the dominance that the Raiders had over Kansas City. Gunther Cunningham, Marty Schottenheimer, all the coaches we've had from John Gruden to Art Shell. When I say the rivalry of Kansas City, what comes to your mind first?
First of all, what comes to my mind is that championship game in 1990 when my dad at Francesco, and he sat there with the girl LaMonica, and LaMonica pulled out a napkin and started drawing up plays that we were going to use against the game. I was excited to know that. I felt pretty good because we were dominant. Keep in mind, the Raiders at the time, the most dominant team, not only in the NFL, dominant professional. So, unfortunately, they had the cover of the schedule on the sports team had a picture of Buck standing towards Monica's arm and really landing on top of him. And that was worse than what happened to Tarek landed on Cannon Lake. But, I think that because it's such a rivalry, let me just say this. I hate the Chiefs. They hate us. It's one of the most storied rivalries in all of professional sports. And I look for the Raiders to be able to establish the running game with actions. That'll do three things. Number one, that will allow us to control the clock. Number two, it will allow our defense to rest. And number three, it'll keep Mahomes' opportunities off the field. I think that we need the pressure. And when we went up there 2 years ago and down on them, one thing that in my mind was the fact that he was running for his life the whole time. We have to set the run down, and then we have to force them to run. But here's the next right here. When Mahomes is able to run parallel to the line of scrimmage or towards the line of scrimmage, he'll kill you. What we did 2 years ago, we had him running away from the line of scrimmage. And he can't do much damage if he's running away from the line of scrimmage. So I think that's a key, and I think Patrick Graham is going to have to draw up a very good game plan. Because I don't really care for the soft zone that we're playing with the young corners. They're not experienced enough to know how to be in the right position on that soft zone. So I think he needs to disguise it. And I think we need to man up with Kelsey. I think I would put Jeremy on him one-on-one and just shadow him all over the field because Kelsey has been able to kill us in the season. We don't want to do that on Sunday.
Well done. Leonard Stevens, happy we're able to do this. We'll do it again. Tell everybody where they can get you, all the platforms. How do they find you? You were outstanding in this conversation.
Well, thank you very much, JT. You can find me at ourtv.tv. That's where you can watch our program content. We have documentaries. We've got old school movies that you would enjoy. We have social content, interviews. We have entertainment, health and wellness. Sports, obviously, the gamut at ourtv.tv. Either you can watch live or you can click video on demand and see some of the programs that are in our library. If anyone wants to be aboard, to be a partner, a sponsor, to advertise on us, you can reach me at 510-913-9569. And again, that's 510. That's because I'm from Oakland and I left when the Raiders left. And just another quick nugget, JT. When I was leasing my building for the TV network, the Raiders owned that building, and I used to write my check out every month to the estate of Al and Carol Davis. Just to let you know, I'm a Raider through and through.
You are. Fantastic. I'll see you again soon and follow up with you. Thanks for the time today.
All right. Thank you, JT.
All right. Thank you. Leonard Stevens. We were lucky. I bumped into him. I left Eric Allen's dinner for the Hall of Fame ring. I'm walking outside, and he and his lovely wife were there. We started talking. He had a cigar going. We talked cigars. And the next thing you know, he's on the show, and he did great. We have Wasted Talent on. He's fantastic. He's on every 2 weeks, and we'll have him on again. The least I can do is put people on the radio who know more than me. And a lot of people know more than me. And that guy's been a Raider